Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. It looks like they have been mobilized. All of those folks that were hired to come across the border, because that's essentially what happened. They were paid to come here, housed, getting monthly checks, and you name it, food stamps, staying at luxury hotels. They've been mobilized. We were wondering why they were being brought here. Now we know. Firefighters reveal, I'm just going to go through some headlines here. Firefighters reveals 2 men were caught on camera lighting fire just before Palisades blaze erupted in LA. And you see here, the subsequent fire grew to almost 20,000 acres, most elite Pacific Palisades neighborhood. The resident reported video of 2 men allegedly lighting a fire moments before the devastating fire broke out. Now, the most craziest thing is I keep seeing this homeless man with flamethrower busted in connection to LA Kenneth's fire after residents detained him. I'm going to show the video here in a second. But homeless man. Well, is he really homeless? I mean, I guess you could say he's homeless because he was brought here. He was brought here. You're going to notice that these guys, they keep saying they're homeless folks. You see the video here. This guy's got a propane torch here. They keep saying, oh, you're homeless. That's the new terminology they're using to try to cover up by stating what's really happening. But good on these guys for doing what needs to be done. This is what we talk about, the Daniel Penny effect. Handle business, right? So they arrested that guy. But again, man, this is happening in rampant. Even a guy that I reference all the time, Dr. Andrew Huberman, neurosciences, neurosciences, I think he is. Anyway, he even captured a video. Check it out.
Oh, and people are lighting fires now. You can see they lit a fire. These guys, not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire. And these guys they're actually, the trees caught fire and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires down.
So this is happening so rampant that everybody, Andrew Huberman, Dr. Andrew Huberman's catching people doing it. Like, this is unreal. Andrew Huberman is on Rogan quite a bit. That's maybe where, if you don't recognize from me talking about him, maybe where you've seen him before.
Down in the so-called, flats around Santa Monica, Venice. So be safe out there. Fire department's been dispatched. We don't have enough water to put this thing out, but we're supposedly on the way.
We don't have enough water to put it out. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But you can see here, man. Look, homeless man suspected of trying to start a fire with flamethrower. This is what they're saying. There's another one. Homeless man arrested for starting a brush fire near Los Angeles. And in this one, it says his name, Jose Carranza Escobar. All suspicion of arson. But that's what they're saying. Here is a shocking video that basically is showing or talking about that this is a organized cartel, probably Trinidad Arawa, tactically looting, going house to house in Hollywood Hills. They have spotters, they have SUVs full of young men in masks. They're using rental cars and like a military operation. Check it out.
I saw men coming into our neighborhoods. Police confirmed it. She had this to say. Take a listen.
It was wild. We just started seeing all these cars pull up, doors open, and groups of men running up our street, going up to the doors of these houses. And we weren't sure what was going on. I'm thinking, are these people here to help my neighbors? I hope so. And I left, and then my husband talked to the police and said, what are those guys doing? These guys don't live here. Get them out. My next door neighbor said, his quote, there were like 100 people that came up on scooters and were trying to get into any and all houses on the street.
And did you physically see police officers stopping them?
I didn't, but it's not to say that they weren't. It was so incredibly chaotic, and I was so worried about my big family and getting them out of our old tinderbox of a house.
You didn't see police officers trying to stop them because they're too focused on DEI or arresting someone for posting a meme about Gavin Newsom. Let's talk about the response for a moment. Could it be California Governor Gavin Newsom cut $100 million from fire prevention budget in 2024. Why would you do that? Why would you do that in California? And then you have Gavin Newsom pleading with Joe Biden not to help stop the fires, but to stop misinformation.
Ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. Hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces.
They're struggling and suffering. You're worried about misinformation
as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you, because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations that are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time. And you wonder where this stuff comes from. And it's very damaging as well. But we're here.
It's damaging because you allowed it to happen. You allowed it to happen. A reservoir in Palisades that holds 117 million gallons of water that was full of rainwater, and they drained it into the ocean, was offline this month for a scheduled maintenance. It was empty when the Palisades fire exploded. So, damn, it sounds like it's by design or something. But instead of worried about water, we're worried about what color the freaking fire hydrants are. The rainbow flag. Like, would it not actually be beneficial to have water in these things instead of painting them? It's crazy. It's crazy. And then we have DEI Hire of the Month. Kristen Crowley, the fire chief of Los Angeles, she boasts about being the first female and LGBTQ fire chief in LA Fire Department history. She promotes a culture of DEI in her priority. Listen to something she says here. Creating, supporting, and promoting a culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity while striving to exceed the expectations of communities are the Chief Crowley's priorities. I don't care about all of that. I care about if you can put out the fires, right? We even have Steve Gutenberg out there trying to put out fires.
So a guy like me can move your cars and get them up there so that these fire trucks can get up there. It's really, really important.
Thank you for talking to us live, sir. What's your name?
My name is Steve Gutenberg.
Steve, do you live in this area?
I live in the area. I live right up the hill. And thank goodness everybody back. But I have friends up there right now.
My man's crying right here. And KTLA doesn't even know who Steve Gutenberg is. What a shame. We have him out there trying to save the day. But then we have the assistant chief. Check out this. This is real. This is not a mockumentary. This is real.
Somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person.
No, I don't care if you look like me. I don't care if you're like me. I want you to save me. Save my shit.
Person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of
You can't carry my husband out. Well, that means he got in the wrong place. He's just going to burn up.
a fire.
Really? This is serious. Get the hell out of California. If your husband finds himself in that situation, he found himself in the wrong place. Fair winds, falling seas, buddy. You're doomed. Now, we talk about the invasion that happened, right? And immediately, this is how you know it's true. This is how you know it's true. Because immediately, no, drug cartels did not start the daily California wildfires. How do you know enough to even say that? We've got videos of homeless people, and you're going to go ahead and publish that? because it's true. If there's anything I've learned since 2020, anytime they publish something like that, going against the truth, it just certifies that it is true. And what should boggle your mind is that the Biden administration announced nearly 1 million migrants from Sudan, Ukraine, El Salvador, and Venezuela will be allowed to stay in the U.S. for the next year and a half by offering them temporary protected status because they've done a good job thus far. They've created the anarcho-tyranny that they're looking for. This is very reminiscent of 2020 when you had the Antifas and such. Soros-backed U-Hauls pulling up with bricks and Molotov cocktails. And Snopes will say that's a lie. That's certified true. Certified true. Reminiscent of that. They're probably handing out the propane torches like Homeboy had at the beginning of the video. And then we have news saying, no, it ain't them. Look the other way. Look the other way, guys. Pay no attention to this. Absolutely. That's how you know it's true. Let me know in the comments, guys. It's wild. We're living in wild times. And I tell you, the more and more we're coming into potential Trump presidency, because I say potential because I think these guys got something on the table. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I can see a lot more stuff happening. Forgotten One, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Griff gifted 5 memberships. Fantastic. If you didn't join the tribe, join up. This guy's in the tribe, been a member for 23 months. Obviously, he likes it. Mike, thank you, brother. Illinois is in the house. And Diablo just became a member as well. Thank you, my brother. Guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. I wanted to share this, and I want to know your opinions, your thoughts on this. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous, my friends. Take care.